This is a video for finding the estimate of the mean from a group frequency table. The reason it says estimate is it's not going to give you the real answer, it's going to give you an approximate answer, because you don't know the exact value in the group, you know they're in a group. So what you do is you find the midpoint of each group first. You may have to create this table space yourself. So I would call this a midpoint, and to find the middle between two numbers, you add the values together and you halve it. So that would be 15. Add those together and halve it would be 40. Add those together and halve it is 55. Add these together and halve it is 65. And add these together and halve it is 85. Once you've done all those, you need an fx column. To find the fx column, this means that f for frequency, which is this number, times the x. Now the x represents weight in this situation. It could be height or speed or distance or anything else. You need one number, however, to represent it, and that's the whole point of not using this group. You use the number 15 instead. So that's your f, this becomes your x, because you're using it to represent that group. So the midpoint becomes the x value. So the fx column, you do 0 times 15, you do 14 times 40, which is, what's that, 400 plus 560, I think. Anyone in the room can correct me if I'm wrong with these.
Yeah.
16 times 55,
so
can someone shout out?
880. Oh, he's right.
21 times 65.
1,365.
And 9 times 85.
765.
Mark Alexson feature in a
Once you've done that, you then need to find the mean. You should remember from when you're in primary school, to find the mean you add up and you divide by how many there are.
I didn't do that.
The common mistake here is to think that there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. A lot of people make the mistake of adding up the numbers here, which they do correctly, and I'll ask for a total of that in a minute. But when they divide by how many there are, you've got to remember that there are 14 numbers in that space alone. There are 16 numbers in that space alone, so already there are 30 numbers. So the actual amount of numbers is the total of that column there. So what you do is you divide the fx column, the total of it, by the frequency column, the total of it. So the way of writing it mathematically is the sum of, which means add up, the fx column, divided by the sum of, which means you add up, the f column. I'm going to ask someone in the room to tell me the total of the fx column.
63570.
Is it 6?
It's
3.
3570. No.
That's it.
So that becomes 3570. Adding up here, that is 60. It kind of tells me that there anyway.
Right, yeah.
So my answer is 3570 divided by 60. When you divide that, it's the same as 357 over 6, which is very close to 60, I imagine. The right answer, someone?
59.5.
What's the number after the 5?
5. I mean, no, there's no number.
There is no number after the 5, so you don't have to worry about rounding. 59.5 is your answer. Leave it like that. If in the exam it said correct to one decimal place, you would need to look at the number after the 5, and then you need to round it accordingly. Rounding can be found on a different video. So 59.5 is your estimate of the mean.